No, Black, I Dominican, papi. I know it's been some time. I had to take some time off. Had a couple of things to deal with. The WBC was there. As you could tell, obviously my team is DR, of course. You already know. What's popping? My Dominicano. You already know what team we are part of. But yeah, I had to take some time off after that loss. I pretty much cried every night. Uh, as you can hear to my voice, I was a little bit under the weather too. So yeah, it took a toll on me. It was definitely a proud moment for myself as a Dominican and the Dominican culture as one. It was put on front stage, and we did not disappoint. People still talking about it, and maybe I'll do an episode and show some of the videos that I got of going to the WBC and all the fun I had. But regardless, I'm back, and I'm back like I never left. And today we're gonna start with kind of a crazy topic. This is a topic I've covered before, and I actually I want to talk about it again because I think it's important. And if you guys don't know Williams, I suggest you go look him up. But this dude is 25 years old, and he just has his the way he thinks about things. I really enjoy it. Viewer discretion is advised. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
The talk of yours that really got me so interested in what your message
Got me
is your
interested too.
four,
Shit.
I think it's titled The Four Types of Black Americans.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share a little bit about that here with me. So, what are the four types?
Blacks,
Mhm,
Negroes,
mhm.
niggas. So the
Uh-oh.
first group being blacks.
Oh boy.
Like I said,
Yeah.
hardworking,
Yeah.
honest.
The regular ones,
We as black people, it's I would say only 20% of the population.
which is unfortunate, but kind of true.
We know exactly where we want to go.
Right.
We don't want to be represented by the negative aspects of our
Right.
culture and our community. Niggas. We don't
Right.
want to be represented by that. Doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter if they're rich or poor. They don't want to be represented by a culture that's toxic. They don't want to be represented by people who are taking advantage of them. They want to, we as black people, we want to be represented by those who are going to be in our interest and support
Right.
us as a people and drive us forward as a people. So, like I said, it's your average black person that speaks well, hardworking, God-loving, country-loving. They're not going to sit back and blame someone for their shortcomings, complain about, well, I can't get by because of something that happened a century before they existed.
Exactly. And then act the way they did at the Houston rodeo. Hey, I'm gonna just play.
No, they're motivated to do more with what they have and build upon that. I mean, we live in America.
Right.
What the fuck?
Best country in the
I'm a
world,
black
baby.
American. I could be somewhere in Angola. I can be somewhere in Zimbabwe. That's a different
Right.
experience.
Very different.
And broadly, that's black in the whole sense, right? But
And I think most people don't think about it, which is a really important part of this, is that a lot of people don't think about society that way, right? They have what they have, and then they see people who have more than them, and they never really stop to think, well, hold on a second. I don't have all the things that I may want. I have all the things I need, and I want more things, but they never stop and think about the people who have less than them, or the people who are going through situations that are like that. If you someone who's born in the United States had to go through some of the shit that maybe some people in Somalia go through or in Africa go through, you'd probably want to take your life. It's really that serious. And actually, as somebody who's a first generation immigrant, my mom came to this country. My mom had absolutely nothing growing up. She taught us that at home, and I'm proud of that because if not, I probably would have been, a little selfish ass prick too.
a black American and African is completely different. We have the greatest amount of opportunity and wealth, and
Right,
we don't do anything with it. But black people like myself, the 20%, we're not going to sit back and keep our heads down. We're going to keep our heads forward and keep it high
right.
because we know exactly where we're going to go and what we're going to do.
Forward
That's the
is a
first part.
very
The
important
first
part of this.
Not looking for a shortcut.
No shortcuts, no handouts, none of
Never.
that. I don't want reparations.
Right.
The
I
greatest
know.
reparations package that I'm here in this country.
Exactly.
I can prosper, I can live, I can exist. I'm not in Africa where the entire economic and social conditions are different. I'm not somewhere in the Caribbean where, it's close to America, but even with that, the economic and social conditions are different. I'm in the United States
Right.
where my ancestors were enslaved, but guess what? They overcame it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they exist today. And I exist today because of them, because of their resilience, because of their sacrifice, because they kept their heads high, believing that in the future, black men and women will be free. And we all as Americans will be free to do as we feel necessary to do for our own existence, for our own survival. So that's the first group. That's the 20% of the black community, the blacks right there.
And the second group?
The blacks.
My favorite, the house Negro, my favorite. Because it's an interesting, when you get into that, the modern day house Negro, they would say, people who don't like me would say, I'm a coon, I'm an Uncle Tom, I'm a house Negro. No, the people that really are both Democrat and Republican. This is more the politics conversation and more the power, economics, class. Within the black community, you have black Democrats, and majority of black people vote Democrat. And you have the black conservative, the black Republican, which I fall into that category, but I'm my own thing. I really don't subscribe to a political party. I love my country, I love my people, and I want us to prosper.
I feel just like him too. Like I hate both sides. They both suck. I've said it here plenty of times, and a lot of times I lean a little bit more conservative than I have in the past. But that doesn't mean I am of one political party. I like good ideas and I go for that. But unfortunately, the last 50 years of either side has sucked. That's why we are where we are. I wish more people thought like that, because we'd probably be able to change the system if more people thought that way.
That's all that matters to me. I don't really care about if the Republican Party wins the midterms. I don't really care if I have a Republican president. I care about if I have a leader that can represent us as Americans.
Right. Now, I in the same token, I kind of do care who wins, but from the perspective of like, we're already going downhill. Let's not go downhill faster, okay? That's probably the only thing I would change about his phrase.
And of course, me being black, I want someone who can serve the interests of black people. If I was white, I would want the same thing.
Right. Or
so
Asian or Hispanic.
It's a very interesting conversation when you get into the difference and how they're really similar, both Democrat, Republican, black. The black Republican will sit back and tell you, especially now, they're very pro-Israel, they're very pro-establishment,
right,
and they don't really talk about the black issues because many of them are country blacks that never really had to live around the nigga shit, the nigga culture, which nigga culture is black, black culture is nigga culture. They never had to live around that. Or there are black kids who lived in suburbia.
And that's where the phrase comes from, once you get a little bit of money, they get up out the hood. Yeah, I don't want to live around that shit. That doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make me, Uncle Tom or Coon or any of these other words that people like to throw around, specifically in the black community. That because you make a little bit of money or because you learn a little bit of information and you want to change your life for the better, you're now a sellout because you want to move out of, the crab in a bucket mentality, or out of the bucket per se, if we're talking about crab in a bucket mentality.
They went to nice schools. They may have gone to, the HBCUs, and they got bullied as black liberals and became conservative because they didn't want to be left out, because they didn't want to be a part of, not without a group. They didn't want to be considered, I'm alone.
I like the way he positions.
They couldn't do
a good way.
Thinking, the critical thinking to build their own worldview and build their own identity. So they needed another group to fall into. So that I despise them the most because they're the closest thing to me in terms of ideologically, in terms of voting. And they do a great disservice in trying to provide a viable alternative socially and economically for black people. The black Democrat, I mean, I can respect him because he understands exactly what he believes, as much as I disagree. One is grifting, the black Republican, the black conservative.
Right.
The black Democrats are stupid. That's it. And stupid, all that means is
he said it.
You know better, you're just choosing not to do better. They'll sit back and sell the poisonous lie that black people are oppressed, that, it's the white man's fault.
Right, or it's the system.
That, we're forever to be victims. And they capitalize on that black pain and that black lack of drive, lack of purpose in order to win elections.
Right.
Biggest example, Jasmine Crockett. I was just telling somebody this on the street.
Oh, I can't stand this.
Jasmine Crockett. She didn't come from the ghetto. She didn't come from a poor background. She went to law school. She had a 2-parent household. She's not some...
Which is crazy because she went probably to one of the most expensive high schools in the country. And it's a video, maybe I'll react to it, but I seen a video of this recently about a guy who did research on her. And like just how she acts is like she tries to act like she's from a poor black neighborhood. I'm just like, y'all, like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You received an amazing education from a private high school. Then you went to a very prestigious college. You have a law degree. You did not come from the trenches. Now get the fuck off.
Somebody that came from the bottom.
Right.
But when she gets on TV, she'll put on this act and she'll start talking and snapping and trying to act like the average black woman from, Compton or from Detroit or from Richmond or from anywhere you can name predominantly black. It's like you don't come from that. So why are you trying to pretend to be that? Why are you trying
It's easy to
'cause
sell
they
it.
want to sell
Right.
the
They're
guy
gonna eat
getting
it
to
up.
win. People who
Exactly.
don't know, who are not informed, who are not educated on the current political conversation or current events in order to win. It's no different than what we see with immigration, what we see with so many different things. You have an elite that will use the bottom, the useful idiots,
See, he said
as
elite.
a means to
Listen
get what they
closely.
want with immigration. I mean,
Right.
people have always been coming to this country. People are always going to come to this country. But both parties use immigration as a way to maintain economic power. Republicans do that. And then Democrats, voting power. It's not good for us as a country. It's not good for me as a black person, not good for any white person. Nobody's saying that people can't come here, but when we have people pouring into our country, what does it do economically? What does it do culturally? What does it do into the demographics of this country?
All right, it weakens the middle class. It weakens the overall strength of us coming together and saying, "Hey, we've had enough of this, and we want better leaders." And then we actually get better leaders, right? And that's he said multiple things here that are key. He talked about the elite, which a lot of people either don't believe or think it's bullshit. And he also talked about the fact that the folks that say that they're for us are not really for us.
That's not a good thing. We want people to have better lives. We want people to prosper. But if I'm not able to eat, if I'm not able to get a job, if most of my generation is going to be working 2 jobs just to get by,
Right.
they're having their first kid, they're struggling economically, they're up
they
their
don't
neck
have any
into
kids.
debt. Why are we letting
And they're
people
still
in when we can't
struggling.
even take care of our own?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. But
Just
both
common
parties,
sense.
they benefit from that.
Right.
And then going back to the black thing, both Democrat and Republican benefit from black Republicans not acknowledging the problem, talking about it from afar, and being the useful opposition. And then the black Democrat feeding off that black pain and pinning one against each other when really this is a class thing.
Right. And I said this before too, in a different episode, but I had said like the reason that the certain folks who eat off of the black pain and the fact that there's so many people who are not only unwilling but just don't understand that things are a lot better than they are and just want to live in this idea that I'm black and so that's why I am where I am. The people who live off of that or the people who sell you that idea, those folks will lose their power if they actually make things better or actually focus on the things that you can control or even bring light to the fact that we live in a country where you have the ability to become just about anything you want as long as you're willing to work for it.
It's a class thing. And that's controversial for someone on the right to say that, to talk about class. Usually it's a left-leaning thing, but who cares about right and left? It's more about what is beneficial for us as Americans and as a whole.
My boy cooking with grease. Lord, he using the stove, heat, all of it. God damn.
So what is the third group?
Niggas. 60%. 60% of the
The
black community is
outraged
full of
ones.
niggas. Loud, ghetto, argumentative,
Right.
entitled.
That's a big one. Entitled is a big one.
I've said this many times. It really comes from the black Gen Xers, and so there's a generational element that comes into that. That's a big problem. You know, they walk around with a chip on their shoulder. Somebody owes me something. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything other than a blanket when you're born, taxes when you're living, and a coffin when you're dead. That's it. That's the 3 things you get in life. That's it. And right now I got the blanket and I'm paying the taxes and we ain't dead yet. I don't know about the coffin, so we're doing pretty good. All right, that's it. That's the only things I've
Say
been
that
given,
again.
and that's it. But niggas will be nonviolent, but very aggressive in their rhetoric and the way they operate.
Houston rodeo. Just saying.
And it's hard to really say this, but someone needs to say it because that's how we are. Stereotypes exist for a reason. They don't exist because someone just put them on. They exist because it's an examination of behavior. Today's racism isn't, I don't like you because you're different. That's, 100 years ago when the world wasn't so interconnected. You didn't have a vast means of travel by land, by sea, by air. No one really saw, what that black person looked like, and only a few people did. No one saw what an Asian looked like, only a few people did. So it was very new. But today's racism is more, your behavior's poor. You're acting like a nigga. I don't like that. Right. This is unbecoming of what the standard is in a civilized society. We don't want this in our society.
Right. That's a perfect way of putting it. But it's just like most people don't think about it like this. And I feel like the moment that they do think about it like this, their behavior will have to change, because if you know better, you do better. This is the reason why people refuse to use their time in a manner that could better themselves, because ultimately it will show them that they're not working hard enough and that they could be doing better. And the reason they are in the situation they are in is because of their own decisions.
That's what it is today. And when you tell black people that, they get mad and say, no, they just being racist. Okay, what's racism?
Exactly. What is it?
There's nothing systematically holding you back.
Right.
You just don't like you being called out for your actions.
Exactly.
So niggas will sit back and complain, and there's a reason for why I do it. There's a reason for why I make the content I do. There's a reason for why I speak the way I do. Because it's really to piss them off. You got to piss them off.
Maybe they'll change.
Because I will not be represented. I will not sit back as a 25-year-old. I will not sit back in 20 years and have somebody that's 20 or 25 coming to me and saying, you failed, and we are worse off, or even the problems that still exist, they persist and they're worse than when you started. I won't sit back and allow that to be me. So that's niggas.
And then?
Exhale like.
The no word, you can't say that one.
Ooh.
We're saying it because someone needs to say it.
Right.
It's a harsh one. I know it's very uncomfortable for people because there's a historical context to the term. I can't sit back and completely just disregard that. But the reason for why I do is because you have to separate. And I'm big on segregation in the black community. You have to separate black people from the niggas. You have to.
Right.
You've got to do that.
That's so crazy.
Modern day house Negro is going to manipulate. He completely will be X'd out because he enables the behavior of the niggas he does. He doesn't want to work with the black person because the black person is going in his own direction and he can't make money off that.
Right.
But the niggas, he can make money off that. But niggas are very, honestly, the drug dealers, the murderers, the rapists,
the ones we can live
without. The 5 o'clock news,
And listen, we talking about black people here, but understand, there are whites that are like this. There are Asians that are like this. There are Hispanics that are like this. It's not just black folks. But understand that every race has this 10% of people that they could get rid of. The 10% that probably cause 90% of the problems.
They've got a long, extensive criminal history.
Very long.
In some cases, they've been neglected.
Which is unfortunate.
You got to acknowledge that fact. That there's a lot of neglect in the black community when it comes to crime and mental health. But mainly it's done by culture. We glorify a culture of violence. We glorify a culture of dysfunction. We're coming from households that are dysfunctional. We're coming from households that are completely, there's no father, and really there's no mother at all.
Right. And then, one of the points I've heard people say, I think I heard like Young Don make this point, which I thought was completely ridiculous. Oh, well, what about rock music? What is that glorifying? It's like, yes, there is music that is inherently pushing a narrative, for sure. But I feel like our community is the only community who adopts the shit out of this music and then goes and acts upon it. And the crazy part about it is that it's not most people in our community. It's literally what he's talking about, 10%.
There's just people who oversee, get them to school, maybe feed them every now and again. Nobody exists in the household for black children today, especially my generation. The biggest generation of neglect and abuse.
What do we do about this?
So this goes into what I was saying before about the reason for why I piss off niggas. There's 3 reasons for why I do what I do. One, as I said, piss off niggas. To make them feel uncomfortable, to make them feel angry.
Right.
I want them to feel isolated. Because their time, this culture, this identity, It's going away. We're no longer going to have it. So to piss them off. The second, to have conversations with black people who may not like my delivery, who don't like the way that I call it out, but understand and can relate to what I'm talking about. I like to have conversations with those people. And a good 80% of the time, they always come out on my side and agree. Okay, I see what you're saying. I just don't like the way you're going about it. You may not like the way I'm going about it, but you shouldn't like the way you're being represented by these people. You shouldn't like the fact that people are pushing this element, pushing this existence and profiting off of it, both in our community and outside of our community.
One part, I don't know if he's gonna get into it, but everywhere you walk into, when there are people who haven't had experiences with these folks, but see this portrayal on TV or see this portrayal on shows, or just the fact that they see this portrayal of you in this light should piss you the off, because it pisses me off. It's like, I'm not like that. I would never be like that.
You should be more angry at that, not the way that I'm calling it out.
Right.
And then finally, to motivate black people, I don't really care about your politics. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I'm right wing, far right, whatever you want to call me. I care more about you being an American. I care more about you being a productive American that's going to add to this country, that's going to contribute to our community, contribute to our civilization. So if you're tired of being represented by these people, you don't want to be, you need to speak up. I do this to make people speak up, to encourage them to speak up against this every day.
It's one of the reasons I started doing this, to begin with.
And how we fix it, really: crime, education, the family.
Family's a big part.
You got to fix those things. You got to focus on the schools. Black children, they're not reading at the grade level they should be. SAT scores are underperforming. There's some black schools in some black areas where they're doing very well, but in majority, it's not so well. And it hasn't been for the last 30 years. It's improved slightly, but still, it shouldn't be at the level for people that's been in this country. We talk about the 400 years we've been in this country in slavery. Well, we've been here 400 years. We should be at the same level as white people in this country in terms of academically, in terms of economic.
And there are some people who are better off, but I think he's talking about it as a whole. I agree with him 100%. We should be doing a lot better. You know, all this shit we talk about, oh, black support blacks and the black community this and black community that. Like, we do a pretty horrible job of supporting each other, unlike, let's say, the Hispanic community, or even more specifically, the Mexicans. You see them come to this country and they work their ass off, build up a construction company, and their family, everybody in the family works in the construction company. And then all of a sudden, in 5 to 10 years, they own a business that makes, 6-7 figures easily. Or if not, at least that, they have a business that brings in enough money to support the whole family, right? And they're all able to buy, or they're all able to live a pretty decent life. Same thing with Habibis, right? Arab community or Muslims, however you want to call them. They'll buy a corner store and all of them work in the corner store. And then before you know it, one of the person that owns the corner store, one of the person that works in the corner store now has his corner store. And then they continue to do that. Same thing with liquor stores. And it's just like, even the Italian community who came here, there's a lot of communities that build within themselves to be able to help themselves and their community into better positions. And us black folks have not been able to. And I hear people, oh, well, we had a Black Wall Street, but they burnt it down. And my counter will always be, why haven't we built a new one? I'm just saying. Don't shoot the messenger.
And influence, we do it, influence. But academically, we shouldn't be at the bottom. Native Americans are at the bottom. That's what they are, statistically. And we know the historical conditions of them. They've gone through far worse. Black people have gotten far more than the Native Americans have. Native Americans, all I got is casinos. That's it. Black people got, affirmative action, HBCUs, TV companies, everything. Everything. And yet we do nothing. So education, very important. And then crime. We got to be tough on crime.
Yep, I agree.
No more
Super
letting somebody with multiple, they've been in and out of jail. We got to be very tough on crime when it comes to the death penalty. I'm for the death penalty when it comes to murderers, rapists. Yeah. Honestly, people selling drugs, hardcore drugs that are poisonous to the American family, to the black family. I'm not talking about marijuana. I'm not talking about psychedelics. I'm talking about, heroin, fentanyl.
Right.
That's a very common thing that's glorified in the music, in the media. And it's been like that for the last 30, 40 years.
And crack cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one.
And look what it's doing to this country. Look what it's doing to black people. Look what it's doing to everybody. But mainly we're talking about us. We want to sit back and we're looking at the results of it. It's not good. So we've got to be very tough on that. I'm a big advocate for the death penalty when it comes to drug dealers, murderers and rapists, really. And I'm for rehabilitation. It has to be a balance of both. It just can't be one over the other, because you're not just going to solve the problem with a blanketed solution.
Right.
There's got to be some gray area, some nuance to it. And I'm all for that. Rehabilitation is necessary for those who want to be rehabilitated and provide them with a way of getting out. But for those who don't and just want to glorify their lifestyle, what can we do for them? Why am I going to sit here and pay for you to live 20, 30 years and you've done this to a family? Their daughter's gone. The breadwinner in their family's gone. Right. And you get to sit back and live, and they're no longer there. Or they got that trauma from this abuse that you put on them.
Right. With the chance of parole, and then you get out in 40 years and you're fucking 60 or 50 to 60, it's like now you're putting somebody out in society that doesn't know how society works anymore. They're active. They're actually not a part of society. Right. I agree with him 100%. Either we keep them completely in the box and we use them for batteries or labor or something, or they get the death penalty.
Not for that. I can't sit back. I think that's just a great disservice on that family and that victim to let these people continue to go on. I'm not for that.
Do you feel like things are getting better or getting worse for the black community?
That's a good question.
Things are getting worse. Things are getting worse.
They have to get worse
before they get better. But things have to get worse in order for it to get better.
Right. Look at that.
Overall, the country's getting worse. But things have to get worse in order for things to get better.
Right.
No matter what.
Applebee's is bringing the taste of the Big Easy to your neighborhood, starting at $11.99.
My boy is spitting facts.
What do you think of Black History Month?
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. I'm an American, right? Black history. It's like, okay, if I'm living in Zimbabwe, we can have Black History Month. But no, I'm living in the United States. I don't need a month for me.
Right.
I'm an American. I want an American History Month. I think every week, if we're going to do February, each week we should talk about a certain set of individuals. We would have a very long, we would never run out of content or run out of people we could talk about in American history.
Right. But and one other thing I want to point out too is like our country has become more and more individualist, right?
I don't want to be reduced to just a month. I don't want my identity and existence to be just put in just a few days.
Right.
I don't want that.
I don't want it either. Exactly.
I'm a Black American. I'm an American. I live in this country. American history.
I don't even care about the label Black American. I'm American. Just like a white American, just like an Indian American, a Haitian American, Somali American, Dominican American. Like, we're all Americans. That's it. It's really that simple.
It's Black history. Black history is American history.
Exactly.
You did an interesting talk recently about Black fatigue.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big topic. That's a hot topic right now.
You want to share some of that?
The debate,
I think it's real. I think it's a real
thing. Well, just what you thought of. I mean,
just in Black fatigue in general. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Black fatigue exists for a reason. It's a collective tiredness that everyone has of Black people's poor behavior. That's all it is. It's not, like I said, it's not, we hate Black people because they're Black. It's You're behaving poorly. This is not something that we want in a modern society. We're getting tired of the complaining, the entitlements, the chip on your shoulder. Do something, be productive, or get out. And that's really the option. That's honestly the option for Black people. It's either we do better and we work together, or we get out. All this anti-white, we hate white people because they're white and because of the slave. And then they always come up with like these magical stories, these Disney Channel stories about, they were eating us and all this other shit. And when you look this stuff up, none of that shit happened. And the stories of abuse on the plantations widely are fictional or exaggerated. Nobody's saying that there was no abuse. No one was saying that slavery was like, Disneyland. Nobody's saying that. But a lot of stuff is made up to keep Black people in this mindset of these people are the enemy.
And even, let's just for a second, let's capitulate and say that, yes, these stories are true. It's not like that anymore. There's no need to carry around the rage as if the folks that are in front of us now, specifically the white folks, are still causing this shit or still think of us in this negative light. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are on our side.
White people are the enemy, and we can never be unified, and we can never be a part of America. And
Right. We need
there's
to
stuff
be
going on with the
unified.
war right
We
now.
are
I'm
a
hearing
part
black
of
people
America.
saying, "Well, they better be attacking America because black people ain't a part of that. We different." What the fuck are you talking about? We live in the same household. It's like if they
Right.
shoot up the house, everybody in the house is getting hit. It's not, well, you know what? Make sure the bullets hit this side of the house because we're gonna be on this side.
That's a great analogy.
Nigga, come on. Let's
Exactly.
be real now. We live in this country. This is us. This is ours. We need to work together,
Right.
build upon it. Because we just sit back and complain, bitch, and moan. White people are gonna get tired, and they're getting tired, and rightfully so.
Right. I don't
And I
blame.
don't blame them. I'd be tired too if my roommate is being unproductive and always like talking shit and bitching and moaning. You
Right.
know. So it's either we do better or we get out.
Right. Yeah, I agree with.
Do you think slavery is something that black people like to they still bring it up today, or they still have the attitude of like, you know, we were
Slavery is
taking
a choice. It's a choice
Bars.
mentally.
Bars,
We
as they
choose
say
to
in
sit back and
Massachusetts.
live in this box. And we don't have to.
Right.
Nobody's forcing us to. Well, there is, but really nobody's forcing us to. The people who are our own people, and also external elements into that.
Mhm.
But it's mainly our own people who profit from it. So to bring up the slavery shit, it's like slavery was common all over the world. And they just want to blame white people for it. I mean, are we going to acknowledge the fact that black people sold, Africans sold black Americans into slavery? The Jews had involvement in the slave trade. Arabs have still a large involvement in the slave trade.
Right. Nobody ever
Still to
talks
this
about
day,
that.
we're ever going to acknowledge that? No, they don't want to do that. Especially on the topic of Jews, they never want to do that. They never want to have that conversation.
I think I'm gonna stop it there. Yeah, my boy's spitting facts, and the Jewish element is a very big part of that. If you look up your history, know anything about your history, the Jewish side of the country had a big hand in pushing civil rights and working with Martin Luther King Jr. If you don't know that, I suggest you look it up. But it's so crazy. I don't want to go too far. Again, I'm not. I love my life, but I want to leave it there, guys. If you like the video, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check us out on kick.com/justanothertalk. I'm live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.